right. It is now 4:32 p.m. on Monday, August 26th. The board meeting of the Oregon State Board of Nursing called to order. Notice of this board meeting was published by Rachel Prusak, Executive Director, in accordance with Open Meetings Law. If necessary, the board may also meet in executive session as authorized by ORS 192.660 sub 1, ORS 192.660 F, H, and L, ORS 678.126, ORS 676.165, and ORS 676.175 sub 1. Board members and staff stating that they are present are attesting to understanding the confidentiality of executive session and have taken steps to ensure that executive session proceedings are not observed or heard by anyone not authorized by Public's meeting law. ORS 192.660. There a roll call by our secretary.
Board Member Hill, you're on mute, and I know you probably know that, but just letting you know in case.
Yes.
Okay.
I was trying to find how to unmute on my phone. Sorry about that. Okay. So Aaron Green.
Here.
Linda Stannett.
Here.
Margaret Hill present. Claire McKinley Yoder.
Here.
Jody Callis. Excused.
Excused.
Marcus Cooksey.
Here, if you can hear me.
Yep. Awesome. Michelle Chow.
Here.
Oleniki To'olabola.
Here.
Yvonne Yanduan.
Here.
There being a quorum present, I declare this board eligible to conduct its business.
Is there a staff roll call?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So we have limited staff here tonight. So I will name them and have them just say that they are here. Policy Analyst Gretchen Coates.
Present.
Great. And Legal Counsel Lauren Rauch.
I'm here. Thank you.
Chief of Staff Kimberly Goddard.
Here.
Selena Redbird, Policy Analyst Admin Specialist.
Here.
And Phil Young from IT. And myself, Rachel Prusak, Executive Director. And the lovely, how can I forget, Miss Brandy Ritter, who keeps us all together.
Here.
All right. I believe, unless there's any additions or modifications, we just have one thing on our agenda, which is OAR 85147. If Policy Analyst Gretchen wanna take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Board President and board members. So a notice of proposed rulemaking to amend Oregon Administrative Rule, Chapter 851, Division 47, Standards for Registered Nurse Delegation Process in a Community Setting, was filed with the Oregon Secretary of State's Archive Division on July 10th of this year. A rulemaking hearing was held on Monday, August 19th, with no verbal testimony being provided. Written testimony was open for submission until Wednesday, August 21st, with no written testimony being submitted. So with that, does the board direct any modifications to these rules as presented?
Board members?
I just had some, let's say I overread this and I had some fine-tune typos that I noticed.
And respectfully, are you looking off of the clean copy or the track changes so I can get ready?
The track changes.
Okay, thank you.
So the first one is on page 4 in, I think, section 2. So it says the RN must provide procedural guidance and initial direction to the UAP by educating the UAP D, and then it goes to by providing information.
Okay, so did you have a recommendation on how to fix that, or would
So
you like?
so instead of by providing information, it could be through providing information, so the by and the by doesn't come back to back to each other.
All right. Modification
And
noted, thank you.
Okay, page 5, number 5D. Let me remember what I saw there.
Hold up.
5D. So, as the 5D says,
Which, could you please provide, I don't have numbers the same that correlate with yours on my copy. So can you please tell me which rule number that would be under? Like 00.
let me go back up. It's in this 00. Let me scroll up 00. So it's 851-047-0030.
30, okay, thank you.
And that was page, actually, I lied. It's 0045.
Okay,
Make sure I got it right. So under 0045, so it'll be 5D. It said instruct the UIP that the authorization to perform the nursing procedure is client specific, time limited, and not transferable. What's my issue there? There was a section there that the crossed out line didn't match each other. So the second line, time limited, wasn't spelled as limited. It just says mitted, MITED.
oh, so you're saying the L isn't there?
Can you repeat that?
Oh, so you said something was wrong. I'm having a bad connection. So you said time limited was the issue. And so is there a letter that's
Yeah.
crossed out that's not needed to be? My copy
I
has
guess
time. Sorry, go ahead.
I see it now. I see the LI part of that one. Ignore that one. We'll
Okay.
move to the next one. This one is under 0050.
Okay,
I think it's under number 4. Let's see what I wrote here. And it says if the RN concludes delegation remains a safe care delivery option for the client, the RN may reauthorize the UIP to perform the nursing procedure for another period of time not to exceed 180 days. That was not a problem. That was just a reminder for myself. I have one last one, and I think
Okay.
that should be it. And that's under the same section, but letter D. It says,
under 4.
yes,
Okay,
under 4 letter D. So something about time. Instruct the UIP that their reauthorization to perform the nursing procedure is specific, is client specific, time. I guess I couldn't find the LI for the limited for that one.
okay. Well, I'll double check that it shows in. It's showing on my copy here for track changes. But we'll make sure that that's in there when it for submission.
Okay, that was all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Other board members?
I have a comment, and probably 2 comments on my end. One, I think it cleans it up so well, as I said at the last in-person meeting. Living through this for 13 years, I cannot say how important it is for a delegating nurse to understand this, which was quite confusing when I first came on board. cleaning up those words, cleaning up all the unnecessary that probably just makes more to a regulation is really important. So thank you for that. The only thing I want to bring to the table is there is a lot of talk on the transfer of delegations, and that is not in the actual regulation anymore. But I know that that is going to open a huge can of worms for state surveyors and so forth, because the transfer is just as important. So does that leave community nurses, as if they're going to leave, that transfer open? So I don't know if that is later down the way, if there's going to be a rule for that. Gretchen, you would probably be able to answer that best.
Oh, thank you for that question. Yes, these revised rules are silent on that, in the same way that we do not regulate transfers that occur in any other setting, such as hospitals, acute care. It's up to a facility and employer to regulate how that safe transition of care and information help happens between nurses. We have a standard in Division 45 that requires safe care transitions. So right now, that's what we're relying on. We're hoping that this, as facilities, employers, small business owner nurses that do this and hang out their own shingle will develop policies that address how they ensure the safety of their client when a transition between two RNs happen.
Perfect.
Thank you. If it's okay, board member Sanich and policy analyst Cook, thank you for that question, because one of the things that is happening right now is, now that a full transparent process that has happened over the last year has now come to fruition and hopefully cemented with and by the board this evening, settings have reached out to have that conversation. They are also very thankful and figuring out what is next for them. I think one of the big things we're doing as a board over the last year is saying, what do we regulate and what are we not supposed to be regulating? What are the barriers that the Board of Nursing is supposed to put on to protect the public? But what are the unnecessary barriers? Because we were trying to regulate, for example, the settings. And so I think by doing this work, it's the first step to letting the settings figure that out, as well as all of the other big things that are happening throughout our state that are causing harm instead of help because of how we had delegation set up. And of course, historically, we set it up this way to help. But the world has changed in the last few decades. And so now all the little things that we do will be to figure out how delegation works to continue to help instead of harm. And so on top of that, just want to thank you all. I know board member Claire McKinley Yoder had been sitting on the Rule Advisory Committee for a while before even becoming a board member, invested in this, and Linda, your expertise as somebody in the community has brought such value of it to it. So, and then of course, policy analysts for the decade of work you have done on this. So thank you.
So, are we ready for me to
I
propose a motion?
I think so, and I have to agree with everything that was said. You guys have put a lot of work into this, and it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, thank you, us and all of our stakeholders that have put in a lot of hours of knowledge so we can reach this goal. So with that, I respectfully propose the following motion. It is motioned the proposed changes to Oregon Administrative Rule 851-047-0000, 851-047-0030, 851-047-0045, 851-047-0050, 851-047-0055, 851-047-0060, 851-047-0065, and 851-047-0070 be adopted as modified.
So moved.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Recusals or abstentions? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Okay.
And then with no additional business, the public meeting is adjourned at 4:47 p.m.